guys, it's Karla with Karla Dreyer Design, and today we are going to talk about one of the most commonly asked questions I get from you guys is give me some small space ideas for decorating. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you're notified every Thursday when I release a new design video. Okay, my first tip in your small space is the flooring. Now, if you're in a rental, I understand you can't rip up the flooring and change it, but what I want to say is don't break it up. So what I mean by this is if you have, say, a wood flooring in your place, don't add too many rugs. And you might be tempted to do that, especially if you don't like the floor. But the reason is if you're adding too many rugs, it creates too much kind of busyness, which can make a space feel smaller. So ideally you want your eye to just be open and travel around. So I would say just do one large rug. If it's your own place and you can change the flooring, then I always say with small spaces, pick one flooring and do it throughout. I love it, especially even if the kitchen is open, do the same flooring. It just keeps the consistency, the eye open, and creates more visual space. So my second tip, and this is probably the easiest one to do that I would recommend, is color. Okay, so small spaces, more contrast makes it seem smaller, less contrast makes it seem bigger. So I say pick one color, fall in love with it, paint it everywhere. If you've seen any of my past videos, I really love choosing a white. There's so many different whites and you can find information on my videos about that. But choose one color that you love and paint the baseboard, the wall, the crown molding, the ceiling, paint it all the same. The reason is similar to the rug and flooring thing, it will just create more visual scale, it'll keep the eye moving, and it'll make your space appear larger. Another little tip with this is I often get questions about what color to paint cabinets. If you've painted your walls some sort of white, whether it be cloud white, simply white, whatever, I usually suggest paint the cabinets the same. And especially in a small space, because again, this won't break up your eye, won't create too much contrast, it'll just keep it flowing and look beautiful. Okay, third tip is you want to create a focal point. And I think a lot of us forget about focal points, but every room has them and needs them. Like in a living room, your focal point could be a fireplace. In a bedroom, usually it's the bed. But what I want you to do, especially with a small space, is bring the eye up and put something unexpected and large, like a large piece of art. So whether that be behind the couch, that could be just in the hallway, it could be in the dining room. Again, I'm gonna go back to the contrast thing. If you've got lots of little itty bitty pieces everywhere, it's going to make it feel busy and then that makes it feel smaller. Compared to if you just have one big piece of art, it really draws the eye to it, hopefully draws the eye up and makes your space seem that much larger. Okay, my next tip is reflective surfaces. I love a mirror in any space. I kind of have a little rule of thumb with walls because sometimes people go, I don't know what to put on them. So I always think you have a piece of art, it's nice to have something maybe sculptural or like a bookshelf, and then on another wall have a mirror, but particularly in a small space, have a mirror. My tip with this though is make sure you notice what the mirror is reflecting because sometimes you put up a mirror and then they say, now I'm looking at something really ugly in the mirror in my house that I don't want to see. So a little tip with that. But other reflective surfaces are just things that are open, like glass or acrylic, things that just have an openness in their visual scale, really help in small spaces. And last, let's talk about furniture. I think there is a misconception that my space is small, so I gotta buy small furniture, and I don't want you to do that. What's interesting is a space feels bigger when furniture's in it. I don't know why, but it actually does. And so I want you to buy regular size furniture. Now that being said, don't buy something so big that you can't walk around it, but say you're in a living room. If you can fit a regular size couch, buy that regular size couch. Same with a rug, if you can fit a rug that the furniture sits on, same with the coffee table. What I will say is buy less pieces. So I would go bigger and more substantial with your pieces, but I wouldn't buy a bunch of little tables or little chairs. I would make sure that the pieces are substantial. Another tip, if they're lower to the ground, it actually helps in small spaces because again, your eye is able to kind of travel up. And before decorating any small space or space at all, it's really important to know what your personal design style is. I've created a free design style quiz and you can link to it below. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and I'd love it if you'd share it with your family and friends. I'll see you next week.